Greetings and welcome to the second online presentation by OAR. I am Graham Adamson, Coordinator of the OAR Committee. More about OAR later, as now it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce Dr. Francis Macnab, who today will speak on managing your mistakes. So over to you, Francis.
We all know that we make mistakes and we wish we hadn't made that mistake. And we go over and over it again, worrying about it. So we have to think for a moment and say, how are we going to manage our mistakes better? How are we going to manage ourselves better in the light of what has happened? Someone's done something, we've done something, we've said something, they've said something. How can we move on, as it were? We have any number of people who will tell us that's what we have to do, but how to do it is a problem. So I'm going to put to you a few suggestions whereby we might handle ourselves differently. First of all, what is it we're worried about? What is the event that's worrying us? And you'll notice that the event is one thing, but then we're loaded with our interpretation. We loaded with our energy about it. It was terrible. It was something I shouldn't have done. And before long, we noticed that in addition to what has happened, we now have another problem. We're criticising ourselves. We're punishing ourselves. We're loading it with negative energy. So our task is to say, what is the issue here? It's the event. It's now the loading we've placed on the event. And here we've got ourself is mixed up here. How do we feel about ourselves? And before long, we realise we're not talking about something that's now happening. It's something which happened in the past. When did it happen? When did we do this? When did we say it? We said it a month ago, 5 years ago, and we still remember it. So we're going to say, hello, we've got a memory here as well. So what is the task required of us? To manage the event that we've worried about, to manage the worry that we've put on the event, the ourself in this, or the memory. How do we manage our memories differently? So I'm going to put to you a few suggestions. First of all, you notice that memory is something inside us. Or is it? Or is it we've now got it outside us? So where is that memory? Where is the issue that we want to deal with? And how can we position it better? Do we position it inside ourselves so that we're churning about it over and over again so that our mind won't let it go? Or can we put it out there? And if we put it out there, we can then say, so there it is, out there. So that's a matter of positioning our memory. Positioning our memory and giving it a different meaning. It is something which happened yesterday. It is something which happened 5 years ago. So let us see if we can do that. That's one big matter, big issue that we have in front of us. So then we have to say, well, what will we do with that memory? It's out there. Can we create a different memory? Can we find a new memory? And so we have to move the old memory and its power to a different place. I sometimes call this the expulsive power of a new event, a new emotion, a new memory. The expulsive. So let's see if we can put a new memory, create a new memory. What is that new memory that we'd like to put in its place? So that we now have the old memory, which we put over there, and we're going to practice leaving it there. While we say, we've got a better memory here. To manage our memory differently, we've created a new memory and we put it in front of ourselves. That's what we want to remember. And we want to give it better energy so that we can now focus on something in the future. How will we manage ourselves better? Something has happened in the past. We'll put it over there. Now we've created something in the present and we brought it into our present. How can we manage that issue better? So we now can see that we can manage ourself, the self, differently, better. So what do? We need to say, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with an event in the past. And we're dealing with the energy that we in the present are giving to something that occurred in the past. 1 month ago, 1 week ago, 5 years ago, we're putting energy there. So our task is to say, what are we going to do with that energy? Lift it off, lift it away, so that we can put new energy in its place. New energy, so we now can say, this is what we want to do. This is how I want to manage myself. Not stuck with something which happened in the past, but how I can be a better manager of myself in the present. That means we have to focus on something. Focus on living enjoyably and living well in the present. It's true that as we get older, we tend to regress. We tend to get back into the past events and go over and over them again and again. But I'm going to suggest we say, stop there. Practice putting a stop to those things and say, let's be clear. Those things happened in the past. We're going to leave them there. Position them in the past and come back into the present. Take them out of your internal thinking and put them out in front of you and say, there they are. Now what will I do about them? I'll position them differently. I need to soften them somewhat, because often we're over critical of ourselves. We tend to punish ourselves for what we said, what someone else said, or what we've done. So how to soften those issues of the past and be kind to yourself. Practice a little kindness, first of all to yourself, and then to the past. All right, something did happen in the past. We're going to leave it there. And we're going to say, how then will I soften those things in the past? Say, well, there it is. It happened. I'm going to let it be, soften it down a bit, and create something new. Because we know that when we create something new and become focused on that and giving the new issue, the new memory, some energy, then those past issues begin to fade. And we let them be there. Let them be there in a different way from what they were before. In the past, they were churning away. Now we're going to say, let them be there, but quietly. Be quiet. Be gentle with yourself. And refocus now. Focus on something which is a good memory, a good event, a good me, a good yourself, good self. So focus on that and see whether we can feel that life is better because of that.
In this time of isolation that we currently have, it's very, very easy to sit and reflect upon what has happened in your past life and what you perhaps should have done better. Is there some way that we can use this time to become more productive with getting control of our mistakes and memories?
We can easily become totally focused on the things of the past, the mistakes we made, the events that occurred we wished hadn't occurred, and we become just ineffective in managing ourselves better, in managing life better. So our task as we grow older is to say, how can we manage ourselves better? What can you do? Rather than mulling over what you already know well, because you've been over it again and again. So here are a few suggestions. Number one is to see, let's select some distraction. Look at a good picture, find a new and different picture in a book or on the wall. So what is it I can see in that picture that changes my mood, that changes my way of seeing things? Maybe it's a memory there too, that you remember that picture long ago. Someone told you about it. There it is. So you seek a distraction from what you can see. You seek a distraction in what you can read. Find some good poetry, or find one good story, just a short story, not something that's going to be boring, a short story that says, that's rather nice. I'm going to read that and that and that. 2 or 3 different stories. That then you'll notice that as you accumulate these things, this is softening up those harsh things of the past, and you say, I'm creating new images, new emotions, new memories. Or I might listen to some music. What music? Different music. Select some new music for you and say, all right, let me listen to this music. And allow it to move right around you and through you and speak to you in a different way. What do I feel about this music? Why do I like it? What is it doing to me? So the music. Then thirdly, I've said, you're looking for some imagery, you're looking for some reading, you're looking for some music, and then next we look for some people. We know that people can be boring, people can be tiresome, people can make you angry. Rather think, what person can I talk to? What person can I think about? So here I might have a fantasy of a person that is a good image, a good memory for me. Or I can say, there is John. I'll ring John up and have a talk to him. But you might feel a bit awkward about ringing him up and saying, I just ringing you up to have a talk. But sometimes that open-ended talk can be open-ended and help us move into new topics that we hadn't had with John before. So selected people. Make sure there are people that you need to avoid, because there's some people you talk to and they make you sad, or they give you negative images of the past or memories. Select some people that give you good memories, good thoughts, good people. Do that.
You've mentioned today and also on other occasions that managing life better. Sometimes I wonder, what is a better life? How do we know what we should be seeking for a better life? Can you give me some pointers on that?
What will I suggest for a better life? There are 2 or 3 angles that we can come at there. One, we can focus on ourselves and say, how can I find something which is more enjoyable for myself? Doing things that I like doing things that make me feel good. And having done them, say, that was good. So to do it and to affirm it by what you tell yourself, that was good, that was good, that was good. That's number 1, what you can do for yourself. Number 2 is to say, now what can I do for John, for somebody else? What can I do to lift his situation onto a new zone? We all know plenty of people that we put the phone down and say, that was heavy going. But see if we can say, how can we lift this? By talking with someone else, we can both end the conversation and say, that was good. And I think you can try to remember those situations where you did just that you had a conversation with other people and then you put the phone down or moved away and you said, that was good. It was good because we were talking about something which was important to both of us, which made us feel better about each other or about the situation. And it was good because life lifted up, curtains were opened a bit for us and for each other. It was all good. So we can do that.
Can we erase a memory forever?
Can we erase a memory forever? We can make sure we can put the memory over there. So are we erasing it? We can always, the memory is sitting there and it's always subject to being recalled. But we can't wipe it out. So we're going to say it's going to be there, but we want it to be there in a different way from what it was before. Before it was a troublesome memory. Now we want to soften it and say, well, it's something that happened. I can let it be. Let it be, and I'm going to now create a new memory, something to replace the old memory with a better memory. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Creating a new memory to replace an old memory. It's the expulsive power of a new memory, a new emotion, a new event. And it can move the whole thing to one side as the new memory comes into place and we're more in charge of ourself. Self-management is a big issue here.
Well, are there some specific ways of letting it go? That is the memory.
Specific ways are really to say, refocus, to focus on a different memory, to find where it is we'd like to be at this moment. So it's a matter of bringing into play a new focus. If we keep focusing on the old memory, on what's happened, it will guarantee its presence for you. But we say, wait a minute, let me have a new memory. Let me create something new. So the first thing to do about expelling it is to say, is there something that I can bring into play which is better, which would be more enjoyable, a better memory? Changing your focus is critical. It's easy for us to get into the way of focusing on our negatives, focusing on that past event. But we need to say, how is there one good thing I can focus on? Practice focusing on just one good thing. And then realizing that leads us to something else. That carries us over to the second good thing and a third good thing. So I was able to get 3 or 4 good things to come up. Do that. It takes practice because those negative things are very tenacious and they're very infectious. They keep us jammed into past negatives breed past negatives. So we need to interrupt them, intercept them, intervene and say, no, I'm going to change that and practice it. I'm afraid it comes down to practice, practice and practice. Those 3 words are very important to us, to practice intercepting our thoughts. Even when that memory or that image of the past comes to us, we say, stop that. Let us switch to something else and practice on that. There's a fly over there on the wall. Practice watching the fly. Does it stay there forever? No. It's going to move. It's going to fly away. And so you follow the fly for a moment and say, I could do just what the fly is doing, metaphorically speaking. I focus on it and then it moves. I'm going to move with it, move away entirely from it. So practice simple steps such as that. And feeling good about it when you've done it. So that was good. I can do that. What am I feeling good about? I'm feeling good because I've managed myself differently and I've managed the external situation differently. I've done it. I feel good about it. So give yourself a plus.
Francis, is there an overall message that we can take away from today?
The overall message is to, first of all, practice feeling good about your own self. Finding something to say, I'm feeling better today. I'm going to feel good about some good incident which occurred. And see that and affirm it, tick it. So there it is. What can we take from that? We're going to say a positive emotion. One positive emotion adds to another positive emotion, adds to another. Plus, plus, plus starts to give us a bigger feeling about ourselves and about the situation. So rather than collecting our negatives, we start collecting our positives. Collect those, put them in place, and see if they can't help you to feel coping better today. Good.
Thank you, Francis, for again giving us something to go away and think about. For those of you who are new to OAR, OAR is an acronym for Aging with Expectation. It is a voluntary, not-for-profit group dedicated to helping older people enjoy a better and more meaningful old age. But OAR also has the welfare of children at heart, and we therefore support the Big Tent program run by the Cairnmillar Institute, which is another non-profit organisation. 1/3 of preschool children have been described as developmentally vulnerable. The Big Tent's aim is to provide specialised assistance to those children to ensure that they can have the opportunity to attain their full potential. You can assist us in this by using the link that is below this video to donate to the program. Thank you.